you're looking to improve your recovery, energy levels, and skin health, red light therapy might be the easiest option to do so. In this video, we're going to be talking about Mito Red Light's upgraded Pro X lineup, and we're going to be answering the question, what's changed, how it'll help you, and whether it's worth your hard-earned money. If you do decide to get one yourself, there's a discount code down below to help save some extra money. So personally, I'm really using red light therapy because I know it should help with things like the massive scar on my chin, which is oftentimes why I have a beard, some acne that I've probably acquired from consuming a decent amount of dairy, and I'm probably a little bit lactose intolerant, but who wants to give up cheese and milk? I cannot. But on top of that, I want to be able to get rid of some wrinkles, like I have some crow's feet kind of forming, and also I got some strawberry skin, so if all of that could improve, that would be super awesome. I'm going to do a more long-term test to see how that improves. On top of that, there are supposed to be benefits for mitochondrial function and overall energy throughout the body. But as of right now, it's actually been a great way to get back to my mindfulness practice. I used to meditate a lot, and recently I've really fallen off with it. And I've kind of started to see the lack of focus and the lack of presence creeping back into my life, which is something I'm constantly struggling with. So I'm kind of habit stacking those two things together. I'm waking up in the morning and basically I have a little meditation pill and I'm just sitting in front of it and just meditating for 10 minutes. And the red light therapy panel is a really nice visual anchor in my space that immediately says, hey, you said you were going to do red light and also meditate. Go do that. So it's easier to do that in the morning for me. And also my girlfriend's been using it quite religiously as well. And one cool thing that she's noticed already in like a few weeks now is the circulation in her hands has actually improved. So I personally got the 1500X, and out of the box, you can immediately tell that it's built super well. And they have some really nice new round corners, which I'm a sucker for. They're very welcome. And inside I got the panel, the power cable, extension cable, you got some hanging straps, a hook, protective glasses, and goggles. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of hanging it up on the door because also in my situation, there's not a plug right beside my door. So I have this weird cable just like dangling across my wall. It's not a good look. If you do end up going that route, there's 2 screws at the top you can just put into the panel and then basically choose the amount of hanging straps that you want to get your desired height. Then the rest of the setup, if you do end up going with the 4 stand that I got, you basically just put in the wheels that are optional, pull out the 2 little parts on the floor stand, put your panel in, and then put 2 screws in the back and you're done. I personally decided not to go with the wheels and just put some felt pads at the bottom. What's also nice about the stand, you can actually stack a 750X on top of this. So then you can basically have a panel that's a floor to ceiling so you can stand right in front of it and get full body exposure. But I don't really know how often you're going to be doing that. I personally prefer to just sit down. For raw specs on the 1500X, there is 300 LEDs. And for every single LED, there's going to be 2 separate chips. One for red light and one for near infrared light. Again, just to preface, I'm not a doctor, just a guy on YouTube, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt. But from my research, it seems like the wavelengths of light that they provide might have these benefits. Your 590 nanometer light could improve skin tone, collagen production, and help reduce wrinkles and fine lines. Your 630 nanometer is going to improve skin texture, acne, which is important to me, and wound healing, also important to me, especially for scars. Then you have 660 nanometer, which is going to boost your collagen and reduce inflammation. This is probably why a lot of athletes use this. Then you have 810 nanometer, which is going to be your near infrared light, and it's going to support the muscle recovery, pain relief, and mitochondrial function. This is where you could have benefits of boosts of energy. As you probably remember from science class, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and if it can just produce more energy, you're going to overall have more energy. Then your 830 nanometer light should improve tissue repair, joints, muscles, and inflammation. Then finally, your 850 nanometer light could improve your circulation, support your bones, joints, and also your muscles. Because of the design of 2 chips per LED, you can either have 100% red light, 100% near infrared light, or you can have a 50-50 split of both of them. In case you haven't used one before, the fans from the red light therapy panel are going to produce a bit of sound. Don't get me wrong, it's not the loudest thing in the world and sounds like a jet engine's going off, but it is going to increase the decibels in the room just a little bit. Here you can see the amount of sound that's producing just from the general ambient room. And then here's the amount of decibels when it's actually running. It's just increasing it by a few. And again, those fans are working because it is really heating up. As I mentioned, all the way up to 100 Fahrenheit after a 10-minute session. And just to make sure you have everything all in one place, the dimensions for this bad boy are going to be 43 inches by 10 inches by 3 inches. One thing just to keep in mind is if you do want shoulder to shoulder coverage, like if you look at me specifically, the light is predominantly, because I'm a foot away, predominantly just going to be in the middle portion of my body, right? Because there's only a 10-inch panel. If I, over time, do want to be able to hit my entire body, I'm going to have to invest in another panel over time. For my research, and because there isn't like strict standards in place, there is supposed to be iridescent where the light does spread, but I'm just going to follow the rule of whatever LED is in front of me is probably the area that's being treated with the red light. So I got to try out previous models as well, and one thing that's nice about this one is there's a touchscreen that's quite responsive and the layout is very intuitive. It's much more welcome than the buttons that were on the previous version that I found personally pretty confusing and annoying. On the touchscreen, you can go in and choose between 3 different modes that have different wavelengths of light, that each have a built-in timer so that you can basically turn it off once you're done. Then as well, you can basically set the intensity of the red light and the near infrared light all the way from 0 to 100%. Personally, I'm just setting all mine to 100% intensity and just using mode 1 so I get all the wavelengths of light. There's also an additional mode where you can pulse the light at 10 hertz. I don't know too much about this, I'm not a doctor, but supposedly because there's a brief moment of rest where your cells are not getting hit by this light, they can actually recover better, so it's not as intense of a stressor for them. And this is also a nice feature if you live in an area that's oftentimes pretty cloudy and gloomy, or maybe your window doesn't necessarily face sunrise. You can actually have an alarm right on the light itself, and if you have it in your bedroom, you can basically just have it turn bright red light to wake you up in the morning. Personally, I'm not really using this because it's not in my bedroom, and also I'm worried about blinding my golden retriever. Plus, there's a new wavelength of light, which is 590 nanometers, so the amber color, and supposedly there's supposed to be a bunch of promising research around supporting your skin tone, reducing redness, and that it may boost nitric oxide production. On top of all these things, on the touchscreen, you can also basically signal in your Bluetooth functionality so you can connect up with our app. Not the biggest fan of that, but we'll touch into that in a moment. And on top of that, there's still the modular design, so you can get the one panel and then grow with them over time if you'd like to. On the flip side of that, there are some things that definitely could be improved. Nothing's perfect out there, and these are the main gripes that I have with the panel and kind of red light therapy overall. Mainly, the first one with the panel is right now it's only 10 inches. Again, I would love something that gives me full shoulder to shoulder coverage because I don't want to be sitting in front of a panel for like 30 minutes, have to do like one side and then the other side and then do my back. Like, this is just too much time. I need some efficiency in my life. So a lot of more panels in the space, and even one in their lineup is now 12 inches. So just being able to see a 12-inch panel would be nice. Like personally, I'm around 20 inches. So 2 of those panels would work, but also even the 2 additional inches, I would appreciate that. Next, if you are hanging it up on the door, there's not the most fine-tuned adjustments that can be made with the hanging straps. There's basically 2 shorter and 2 longer ones, and you kind of have to like play with them to figure out the right height. I would prefer it's something like gymnastics rings or like a TRX, where basically you have a little clip that you can just move it to the amount that you want and it basically locks in. That would be a much better design in my opinion. Then the app, when compared to competitors like Ju, for example, or just like general app quality, it's not the sleekest and most intuitive kind of UI UX experience. I wish that would improve. There is some additional functionality that you can do on there, be it in the modes and etc., and kind of remotely starting it and turning it on, but I definitely think it needs some work. And the last thing that I wish they would have added is a hook that would have gone on the panel itself. You could have added a modular design with threads lined up or down on either side of the panel, so as you attach other ones it can still work, but you just basically screw it in and then it's a little place where you can take your goggles or your glasses and you can just hang it on the side of the panel. Right now I'm just putting it on the very top and it's not the sturdiest setup, and I can't put both of them on there, and it's just not very clean, and I like visual, beautiful aesthetics like that. When it comes to who red light therapy really is going to be for, it's going to be 3 main types of people. The first is people that regularly work out. It could be at the level of a few times a week, all the way up to a pro level athlete. If you want something that's going to improve muscle, joint, and just overall inflammation, then it could help there. The next category is people that are skin conscious. So if you want to look younger for longer, if you got some scars, some acne, some wrinkles kind of forming, it could benefit there as well. And the third is going to be for someone that's a little bit more health conscious and wants to live a healthier life and is into kind of doing more biohacky things like myself, for example. When it comes to the price of the Mito Red Light PRO 1500X, it's going to cost $1,299. And if you want to go for one of the smaller ones, it's going to be $749 for the 750X and $449 for the 300X. Or you can go all the way for the biggest model, which is their Mega X, for $2,649. Also, if you want to pair that floor stand that I got as well, that I personally think makes my life a lot easier, it's going to be $139. And for the more super robust vertical and horizontal stand, one that you can set up so you can lie in bed, it's going to be $349. And again, that one's going to be more so one that will grow with you, especially if you want to do a more modular setup. Plus, if you do want a discount, there's going to be one down below that will help save you some money and help support this channel. One really important thing when you're buying a red light therapy panel is there's a lot of companies out there that are really offering great warranties. For example, the Mito Red Light offers a 3-year warranty. But you really want to make sure that the company can actually honor that. If they haven't been around for a really long time, like 6 months, a year, 2 years, how do you know for certain that they're going to be able to honor that warranty and that they're not going to go out of business? Mito Red Light's great because they've been around since 2019, so I at least know with some confidence that they're not going to be out of business and they're still going to be able to honor my warranty. Look, at the end of the day, you can watch my video or anyone else's about red light therapy, but I think the most important thing just always is trying it out for yourself, because you might try it and it might not work for you at all and you might not care about it. So making sure that there's a good trial period, and also, this is the kicker that pisses me off a lot about brands, is a 0 restocking fee. Because literally you'll buy something and then they'll take a percentage off when you return it, which sucks. In this case, it's a 60-day trial and a 0% restocking fee. So you can basically just try it as long as you're in the States or Canada, and you're not going to have to deal with that stuff. If you are abroad, you're going to have to worry about shipping issues, duties, taxes, etc. But that's just kind of part of the territory. So at the end of the day, if you're going to buy one of these, what you're really getting is a way to have a mindfulness routine, a way to improve your skin health, potentially your overall energy, and also your muscle recovery. Just so you guys know, Mito Red Light did send me this panel for this review, but as always, this is a 100% transparent, honest review. And I'm gonna tell you the good, bad, and the ugly, however it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I feel like you'll love this video right here. All right, I'll see you in the next one and hope you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.